Hey there, welcome to the MCN tutorial video series, and today we'll be talking about virtual training. Virtual training is a training that takes place for the changemakers and educators after they have been selected by their peers. So this is a training whereby they will learn new skills and share knowledge with each other on the various topics that they'll be campaigning on. This is also a platform for them to prepare their campaigns. This training will be offered by Masifunde, and the CSO partners will be there to assist during this training. So for the virtual training, the learners can either connect from their own personal device, or the CSO can provide a device for the learners to join virtually, and the educators can do the same. During this training, there will be two different parts for the changemakers and for the educators. The training takes place via Zoom, so everyone needs to ensure that they do know how to use the Zoom platform and they have the necessary materials on standby. Materials include your Spark magazines, your register, and also your different activities, the Me-Tree activity, also colored paper and facilitation cards that you'll be using throughout the session. The virtual training is a 2-day, 4-hour training each day that takes place during school hours. So the learners will need to be excused from their schools. Now I'll just highlight the roles of everyone involved in the virtual training. The role of the Masifunde staff members is to facilitate the virtual training, and the role of the CSO partners is to co-facilitate, as they are the middleman between Masifunde staff members and the learners and educators. The educators are there to basically be trained on how they can support the learners during their campaigns and during other MCN activities they will be doing in their schools, because the educators have to support both the learners and the CSO representatives during MCN activities. The role of the CSO representatives is to be the middleman between the Masifunde staff member running the virtual training and the learners. They first have to ensure that they are prepared by knowing the number of learners that will be taking part, the devices that they will be using, and they have to ensure that data is provided for all the devices. They can coordinate all of this with the person who is in charge of the virtual training the day before or a few days prior to the virtual training. They have to ensure that they know how to navigate their way around the Zoom platform, as this is the platform that they will be using for the virtual training. So now we're going to look at the role of the educators during the training. The educators will also be trained during the training separately from the learners. So during the virtual training, the educators will see the type of activities the learners do. Thereafter, will be separated into breakout rooms where they will receive intensive training as the educators on how to support the learners, because the idea is for them to also be educator change makers within their schools, because it's part of the school's duty to create also safer environments for the learners. The educators will receive their own training during the Zoom session, and then they will also come back and join the learners training where they are doing their campaign plans, so that they see what activities the learners have. The role of the learners during the training is for them to participate actively and also exchange information with each other on the Zoom platform. The learners will be coming from different schools, even different provinces during the virtual training. But the idea is for them to see that yes, we do have these challenges, but we can also work together to ensure that we come up with ideas that are sustainable to implement in our schools, so that we don't have these challenges anymore. They have to assume the responsibility as change makers to create safer spaces for themselves, as they cannot leave it up to the principals, the educators, or the government, but they have to start the change and expect everyone else to follow and join them in doing so.